The composition of ingredients included in your organization's context continues to grow exponentially. Complexities of dealing in global environments and cultures, disruptive technologies impacting various parts of your organizations, distributed teams working across continents, political uncertainties, talent scarcity, societal demands, economic instability, and much more. The drive to comprehend and master the complexity of operating in a global environment, to see the bigger picture, forces us to dig deep inside to identify the vital few keys leading to success. Sounds ironic, doesn't it? How does an organization differentiate itself in the global context? Arno Penzias, the former chief scientist at Bell Laboratories and Nobel laureate in physics, provided a clue to that question in the 1990s when he suggested, as companies become more global, the only thing they will be known for is who they are, not what they make. If true, and research by others reaffirm that assertion, who is your organization? A good place to begin is to carefully examine the answers your organization gives to three core questions. Why does your organization exist? What does your organization do? How does your organization behave while doing it? You likely recognize those questions. The answers articulate your organization's vision, mission, and values. In other ITC programs, we have covered the characteristics of each and the importance of having articulated your organization's vision, mission, and values. For our purposes today, I want to first remind you that sustained success only comes with a shared vision, shared mission, and shared values. And second, to remind you that those provide the foundational guides from which emanate all that you do, produce, and deliver, and what behaviors your organization recognizes and rewards consciously or unconsciously while doing that work. I'd like to spend our time together exploring a fourth question. How is your implementation going? Why? Because how you implement and support your vision, mission, and values as an organization is how others will recognize and know who you are. It might be relatively easy to answer the question, is your organization aligned? But more importantly, to really know the answer, it's best to dig deeper. Are your people aligned with your vision, mission, and values? Are your people energized to achieve the vision and mission end states? Here's an easy ask, observe, listen test. The next time you walk into one of your offices where the vision, mission, and value statements are framed hanging on the lobby wall, ask the receptionist about them and observe his, her body language and listen carefully to their answer. Optionally, if you see posters of them in the hall or conference rooms, ask some of the passing staff or the conference room attendees about them. Observe and listen. Hopefully you'll be delighted with the response. But if you hear one of those dreaded responses, such as, those words might work over there in Brazil, but they don't mean anything here in Shanghai. Or worse, nice words on the wall, but that's not how things are done around here. Take pause. Regardless of what is written on the walls, how the organization chart is drawn, how you think things work, or what you say, how work actually gets done is the organization's true culture. Your culture is an outcome of what the aggregate organization does and how it behaves. Your culture is an expression of who you are. Is it aligned and a manifestation of your stated vision, mission, and values? Aligned. There's that word again. An organization's long-term success is directly related to all work and all employees being aligned, energized, and connected with the vision, mission, and values. If aligned, they create the energy and excitement to achieve the end state. If you experience they are not currently aligned, where might you start to learn what changes or modifications are needed? Is it in the words used to articulate the current vision, mission, and values? Is it the meanings ascribed to those words by employees from different national cultures scattered around the world? Is it the behaviors used to conduct daily work? Is the work people are doing that is not connected? Or rather, should you start here? What connections are required? Where does alignment start? Where does energy to achieve originate? Let's go back to an opening comment I made. The drive to comprehend and master the complexity of operating in a global environment forces us to dig deep inside. Organizations and leaders are discovering that the answers lie within their organization or themselves. Start with self. As a way to illustrate, let's use the models for authentic leadership and for authentic organizations created by Bill George, former CEO of Medtronic, author and expert on leadership. While the model is intended for leaders, I suggest it applies to all employees. Mr. George tells us that the more a leader is true to him or herself, authentic, the more successful they will be as a leader. Authenticity, then, is not an externally driven attribute, but emerges from the core of a person. Great leaders start with self, truly understanding as best one can who they are as a person. Not judging whether he or she is good or bad, but in the true spirit of mindfulness, accepting their personality, strengths, motivations, desires, beliefs, idiosyncrasy, and challenges. For through that understanding of self at the center, refined through application and reflection, a leaders discover what they are passionate about, what they love to do, and that what they do has meaning, has value, has impact. In Mr. George's words, discovers their purpose. Let's stop here for a moment. If any employee is going to engage, to be motivated, the work they are doing must be connected, have meaning, have value, and have impact. Additionally, the work employees are doing must include the opportunity for them to learn and grow while doing it. The combination stimulates self-motivation that generates organizational energy to achieve the desired end states. Alignment starts with employees doing meaningful work with an opportunity to learn and grow, which releases energy. Organizations that don't make these connections miss the first step in achieving organizational alignment. Let me repeat. Organizations that don't make these connections miss the first step to achieving organizational alignment. Dana Zohar, author and speaker on leadership, provides an insight for leaders to address strengthening this first step in organizational alignment. She and her colleagues' research found that at any given time in an organization, there are 5 forms of impact evenly split among the employees, namely, impact on society, building community and stewarding resources; impact on the customer, superior service; impact on the team, creating a caring environment; impact on me, my development and compensation; and impact on the shareholders. What a leader cares about doesn't tap into 80% of what the workforce cares about. Without recasting their messages to connect to the other impacts, leaders unconsciously undermine the value of their people's work and lose significant energy available to the organization. Mr. George goes on to say that through understanding self and purpose, a leader develops clarity of their personal values, and by choosing to live them consistently every day, establishes meaningful connections and caring relationships. Let's stop again. The journey of self-discovery from within provides every person a mindset, a platform from which to live that, when experienced by others, provides clarity and consistency, enhances understanding, removes barriers, provides others caring support, increases commitment, and ultimately inspires. A person who has clarity of their personal values will seek to associate with others who have similar values. Hence, people search to join organizations that clearly articulate and demonstrate consistent discipline to adhere to their values and that are in sync with their personal values. Having a person be able to connect to the organization's values is the next critical step in attempting to achieve organizational alignment. Working in an environment where values are aligned frees individuals to contribute more energy toward achieving the vision and mission end states. If a person cannot make that connection, the person, at best, only half-heartedly engages and consumes energy instead of contributing energy to achieve the end state. In the global environment, clarity of values further opens people to be mindful of and appreciate the breadth and nuances of understanding the richness that exists within the organization due to different ethnicities, cultures, backgrounds, experiences, languages, etc. Dr. Suni Giles, creator of quantum leadership, conducted a survey taken by 195 widely respected global leaders to identify the 15 most important competencies for success. The results were published in a Harvard Business Review article of March 2016. The leaders' results in summary and priority: shared values, to help others find greatness within themselves, and creating a culture and environment of continuous learning, trust, and collaboration. This is an important reminder for all of us. Truly knowing your people, what they're good at, what they enjoy doing, that gives them purpose, how they can learn and develop while doing meaningful work, and what they value is vital to attracting them into the organization, vital to getting them into appropriate positions, and vital to the organization having any hope of fully engaging them and achieving alignment. Mr. George uses the same leadership model in describing an authentic organization. Emerging from knowing itself, its core, an authentic organization articulates its vision, mission, purpose, values, and through the self-discipline of daily living the organizational values, establishes caring internal and external relationships. Being mindful of and recognizing the origins of alignment and energy to achieve, authentic organizations take consciously chosen actions at all levels within the organization to ensure people have the opportunity to do meaningful work that includes opportunities to grow, and to ensure organization values permeate daily behaviors. By doing so, they are inviting current and prospective employees to join and wholeheartedly engage, generating excitement and energy to move the organization forward. As a friend recently stated, there are two ways to move a horse. You can use energy to push the horse, usually ending with limited success, or you can create an invitation for the horse to move forward. Are you expending enormous energy pushing your organization, or inviting your organization, which focuses and generates energy to achieve? Authentic organizations invite. Is there a relatively easy-to-use tool that helps organizations demonstrate connections from the vision, mission, and values to the work that needs to get done and the behaviors valued by the organization? One tool is a charter framework. The charter framework simply maps the why, what, and how to ensure they are intrinsically linked from the abstract concepts articulated at the top down to the tactical plans and the concrete actions to be taken. It's a tool that can assist in several ways. As a planning tool, showing what key plans should be included. As a check and balance tool, to ensure the elements within the plans are intrinsically connected and aligned top to bottom and from bottom up. And as a communications tool to demonstrate direct connections of work and behaviors from the vision, mission, and values to the work groups and employees. Looking at the graphic, note the what column cascades from the organization's strategic direction to specific strategies, to the supporting business plans, to the tactical execution plans for work groups that include the work of an individual. The how column starts with the guiding principles, the corporate values, actual and aspirational, which inform more specific behavioral guidelines contained in the organization's code of conduct, followed by locally applicable employee and client relationship policies, and ending with the acceptable behaviors used to execute daily work functions. About this time, you are likely asking yourself, Mr. Hoffmann, what are you smoking? Is it feasible to achieve organizational alignment? And is the charter really that helpful? Here's an example of how one global company did it. The company had operations in 34 countries and was anticipating expanding operations into more countries around the world in the next 3 years. Feedback from the organization suggested the current vision and corporate values statements developed and implemented by the management team 10 years earlier were disconnected and were at odds with various parts of the now global organization. Some words didn't translate well, or at all. Meanings ascribed to a single word were very different, resulting in different expectations and consequences. And some statements were at odds with some countries' cultures. As the management team was about to undertake their next strategic and business planning efforts, they adopted the charter concept as a way to align the business, provide clarity of connections, and use to communicate the updated plans. After significant discussion and debate, the management team agreed that the purpose would not change. And while they had the responsibility as leaders to write a final vision statement, it would be appropriate to gather input from around the world for both the vision and an update to the corporate values. When done, they needed to be representative of the global organization and belong to the whole organization. To be authentic, they further agreed that the vision and corporate values should emerge from a deep reflection and understanding of the organization itself. A disruptive move or a bold move? In brief, the effort began with a concentrated awareness and education process to align everyone on a common understanding of the content and the roles of vision and corporate values play in an organization. Mindful of tapping into the diversity and mindfulness of the employees scattered in multiple countries, working in 19 languages, and being of different cultures, ethnic groups, and gender, the education process was followed by 3 waves of input and review. Input was solicited via social media, video, blogs, email, collaboration workspaces, and facilitated face-to-face workshops. A global team comprised of local representatives from each region summarized and extracted key common concepts from the first round of input. The analysis suggested 6 potential corporate values and 9 key themes to consider for the vision. The team quickly experienced the complexity of its global nature when searching the correct words for each recommendation. Every word needed to be tested for meaning and global understanding and acceptance. The summarized key messages were returned to the employees for a second round of commenting and prioritization. As a result, the global team drafted 5 corporate values and provided 6 key themes to the management team to craft the final vision statement. Over 7,000 employees were involved from 38 countries. Over 3,000 were actively engaged by making over 4,400 contributions. The vision and corporate values truly emerged from the core of the company. While working through the planning process with the charter framework, it became apparent that the way the business plans were written needed to be modified to better clarify connections. The same happened on the how side. The restated values were not aligned with the code of conduct. So a smaller global group addressed revising the code of conduct and identified clarifications and changes necessary in locally applicable employee and client relationship policies. Using the charter framework provided alignment of messaging. Clear connections were made in the documents from the top of the charter to the everyday tasks and behaviors. A common language emerged with a common understanding globally. The process provided the organization an important key for communicating. By reframing planned messages with a slightly different emphasis, the messages became motivational, tapping into the employee's energy versus demotivational and deflating. The people owned the vision and corporate values. They understood them. They connected with them. They defended them. They were theirs. They chose to commit. They were aligned. We asked at the beginning of this example if it was a disruptive move or a bold move on behalf of the leadership team. It was both. The outcomes, excitement, energy generated, and success far exceeded expectations. Globalizing your organization or working in a global environment can both be complex. Marshaling the organization may be a challenge. However, you have the most powerful tools, your shared vision, shared mission, and shared values. You have access to the most powerful weapon, your people. You have the answers. Find the vital few. As the inscription on the Greek temple of Delphi says, know thyself. Dig deep. Thank you.